Militarily Speaking, episode 86, Hire Heroes USA.
This episode, we talk with Ross Dickman, CEO of Hire Heroes USA.
Welcome to Militarily Speaking, brought to you by Armed Forces Bank. This is T-Mac and Jodi Vickery.
Is that what we're doing now?
Yeah, episode 86. I'm going with a nickname. I could go with Looper, but I'm going to go with T-Mac. I am the military retail exec for Armed Forces Bank, and Jodi, coming up on her seventh month as chief digital officer.
I don't know.
I really want to steal that title for a day.
Okay. I'll give you all of my inbox. Good luck.
Delete.
Good luck.
Delete.
Again, welcome to our show. We're excited to have you listening and learning all about our guest, Ross Dickman. Ross, I want to take just a few minutes and tell our audience all the things about you that you know, hopefully full well, unless Tom made them up. But we want to give them your story because I think that's important just foundationally. So Ross currently serves as the Chief Executive Officer of Hire Heroes USA, the nation's leading veteran and military spouse employment organization. He joined Hire Heroes USA in December 2015 after 12 years of service in the United States Army. Thank you. Thank you for your service. He led employment intervention research programs at Hire Heroes USA before serving as interim CEO during the COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Dickman was the COO from October 2020 until assuming his current role in March of 24. During his Army career, he served in multiple leadership and staff positions as an AH-64D?
That's
Apache Helicopter Pilot? That's a pretty cool gig. With the 1st Cav Division at Fort Hood, Texas. I used to live at Fort Hood, Texas.
And Fort Hood now is Fort Hood.
Yes.
It's Fort Hood again. That's right.
Yes.
It's full circle.
World is right. He deployed twice to Iraq in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. And the awards include Air Medal, Bronze Star, Meritorious Service Medal, and the Combat Action Badge. He later served as an aide-de-camp at the U.S. Army Combat Readiness and Safety Center and as a tactical officer at the United States Military Academy at West Point, New York. His final Army assignment was the executive officer of the Simon Center for the Professional Military Ethics. He has a Bachelor of Science degree in Comparative Politics from the United States Military Academy, a Master of Arts degree in Organizational Psychology and Leadership from Teachers College at Columbia University, and a Master of Business Administration from the Terry College of Business at the University of Georgia.
Wait a minute.
Where we say go dogs?
Yeah. No, I was going to say his education pales in comparison to mine.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he's got you really do.
I would say make your case, but we don't have that much time.
Your attitude today is fantastic.
It's lovely.
All right.
And I would just leave you with the fact that he lives in Connecticut, where he is a Philadelphia Eagles fan with his wife and daughter.
What city in Connecticut?
We're just outside Danbury in a small town called New Fairfield.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
We're right in the woods. We have bears and foxes that come through the yard.
Doesn't sound wonderful at all.
I mean,
sounds frightening.
I like being near the woods. The hardest part is you got to put those straps around your trash cans because raccoons and stuff like that get in there. And then,
and bears. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Did you have an incident with animals getting to your trash?
Oh, yeah. Raccoons for sure. And then there's a groundhog that lives in the backyard. And then there was a fox den in the front yard. So, and then our neighbors have an area that a family of skunks live. So yeah, we're mindful of animals, but we're pretty close to civilization as well.
So you probably do your own, what's it, Poxitani Phil on Groundhog Day? See if he sees his shadow.
She has a name, and yeah, my daughter around that does keep an eye on her towards the back shed and wonders what
is her name?
Petunia.
Nice. Easier to say than Poxitani Phil.
Poxitani Phil. That's a tough one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
even harder to spell.
And when you see the groundhog, it doesn't happen the same time over and over again, does it?
No, and we don't go near it.
That was a bad attempt.
Yes.
At Groundhog Day.
Yes. We could spend all day. I'm actually quite confident we could spend all day talking about this, but this is not why you are here. I just want to say, Ross, it's an honor to have you on our show talking about Hire Heroes USA today. And I want to thank you right now for being with us. And let's just start by, if you want to give our audience kind of that 100,000 foot view of your organization. And then, as you have been warned, Tom and I have all kinds of questions to pepper you with.
Well, thanks so much, Jodi, and thanks, Tom. I did have to say, though, when you brought up the T-Mac nickname, all I could think of was Tracy McGrady. So that's not bad company to be in. He was a great basketball player.
When he was in Toronto or Houston or
Houston.
Orlando?
I remember him in Houston.
Did I get him all, or did he travel more than just that? Jodi, you're the basketball connoisseur.
I don't know.
All right. That's great.
Well, either way, as you can tell, I don't run a basketball trivia organization because you've stumped me on it.
It's Hire Heroes USA. All right.
Yes.
Yeah. Talk about your organization, Ross.
We're a 501c3 nonprofit celebrating our 20th year in serving veterans, transitioning military members, and military spouses. And really at its core, we're focused on employment as the primary vehicle for economic opportunity and success after service. Most veterans, when they're leaving the military, are struggling to figure out where their skills fit in. And most veterans don't have a job lined up as they are leaving. And yet employment is the cornerstone of how you live and operate in America. It sets the foundation of who you are. And it provides access and opportunity and stability. And we really think military skills and military spouse skills are really not translated well. So we focus on serving through one-on-one matching, one-on-one coaching, and a highly personalized support system that we serve any veteran of any era. It doesn't matter when they served, what rank they were, what their education level is. We serve any and all, including homeless veterans, justice-connected, junior enlisted, and then we have dedicated programming around military spouses. They have their own challenges as they're supporting their partner's career in the military. It affects their career trajectory, and not all support systems can be there for the entire career life cycle, but we are, and we're really proud about that.
Good stuff. You mentioned homeless veterans. Of course, what comes to mind, since we've got a good relationship with a local product out here, a Veterans Community Project too. Do you look for organizations like that to enlit or offer the services, or do some collaboration to help them as they transition out of temporary housing?
We do. We partner with a lot of organizations, about 700 different organizations that serve in other areas than we do. And so with homeless veterans or anyone going through transitional housing, we love to partner with organizations that are meeting those kind of critical needs right there. So the housing, the food insecurity, building financial readiness, and then bringing our expertise in to support with the employment coaching and the employment connection system. That way, we're all uplifting the community together by delivering what we're uniquely valuable at. There's a wonderful housing group we work with called Operation Homefront. They're wonderful.
Oh, yeah. We're very familiar with them. Yep. They do good work. A lot of backpack stuff that they do for the kids every year, too.
Yeah, they do.
Jodi, I spent like 3 days preparing these questions for Ross, but in 2 minutes, Ross sent me an email and said, can we talk about this? So I'm going to ask you this next question, right? It's not really a question. I just want you to talk about two important things that you mentioned right off the top are skills-based training and personalized services. And maybe those are differentiators, competitive differentiation, but talk about why you're so proud of those two aspects of your organization.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll start with personalized services. Every veteran and spouse we're working with gets one-on-one partnered with what we call a transition specialist on our team. That's their coach, their advisor, the person that's going to help guide them. It's kind of like their utility knife to help them navigate the labor market. Every transition is different. And you can have two people who have the same rank and we're both infantry and are even leaving from the same duty station, but their skills profile will look different. Their capability set, their goals and desires will look different. And our transition specialists work with that person to keep them at the center of their employment journey. One of the things that worries me often about employment-focused systems is, and not to sound crude, but they're focused on a butts in seats type of model. X number of openings out there, and they're just trying to plug and play, get people into a thing. But that's how you make a bad fit, a bad match, bad cultural alignment, maybe bad skills alignment, leads to underemployment or low job satisfaction. And then you see turnover. We focus on that veteran being the center of their journey. they own it. And our team are resources. And that's delivered through always having that coach and advisor there. Sometimes to pump you up and get you excited, sometimes to tell you the truth you need to hear, but don't necessarily want to hear, to connect you with resources. And we've found that it makes a huge difference in their levels of confidence, their sense of empowerment. They're really owning the journey and then taking others with them after they have found that meaningful and purposeful career. So that's kind of why we're really big fans of personalized services. It's extremely hard to scale that, but we have a really rigorous data-driven mindset and a lot of process-based tracking systems to make sure every client gets that one-on-one touch point, and also that we're making sure we're meeting the demand signals that we're seeing. So that's why that stands out for me as a critical part of our work. The second is just military is such a unique environment, and military spouses live such a unique lifestyle compared to what, a standard career journey might look like, that it's sometimes really hard to make those skills fit into what the labor market is doing. Like, I flew Apache helicopters. It's a tank in the sky. It has missiles and a 30 millimeter cannon, and it can shoot rockets. And its job is to, be the offensive weapon or defensive force for when service members are on the ground. It was built as a tank destroyer. Well, Bank of America is probably not hiring me to go blow up many tanks. Maybe they are.
I think that'd be super cool to have on my team.
I know. Can you imagine putting a job posting out there like that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
If one of you's hiring a tank destroyer, I know tons of them.
Yeah, I think I can have multiple uses for that.
La.
On surface, though, you look at what those roles you did in the military are, and it can be really hard to figure out, where do these fit in our business model? How do these help us grow revenue, save costs? And it's the stuff that's underneath the presenting role identity that they had. Like, what was I doing from performance management and material tracking and maintenance tracking and running a process-based organization to keep 8 helicopters flying at one time while in Iraq with limited resources? What maintenance scheduling and personnel management was happening? What flight crew management was going on? And all of those skills lead to specific competency areas that businesses do gain from, but it's asking too much to ask any hiring company to go, let me do the really hard work of figuring out where you, one person, fit here. And the veteran, it's really hard for them to navigate that on their own. So we try to fill that gap as kind of like a middle out approach. We work with employers to help them understand those skills that veterans and military spouses bring. We work with the veterans to help them articulate and validate and present their skills to employers in ways that employers want to make a hiring decision off of those.
And, if you enlist at age 17, chances are 20 years later, or it's going to be your first civilian job. So it's just brand new. It's almost like you just start from square one with them.
Oh, yeah. I'd bagged groceries as a kid, and then it was the Army, and then leaving. And I'm like, do I talk about how good I was at bagging groceries and caring about the stories?
That's a portable skill.
Yeah. Depends on your goals. Yeah. I think that translation piece is super important. It made me think of a resume that I got in the last, 30 days, I think, from somebody that's retiring as a sergeant major. And whoever helped him did a great job translating his military work into business speak. Even from, it was interesting. He sent me 2 resumes. He sent me a military resume that read, these were my military positions in the military lingo. And then he sent me the translated version. And because I've got military background, it was cool to see it in the military way. But then whoever helped him did a really bang up job getting it to where somebody that didn't have any military background that could translate, okay, you held this position. That means you had this many soldiers under your command and that kind of stuff. So that's a really important piece that y'all are doing there for sure. I'm curious, Ross, what are you seeing in the market right now? I mean, Tom and I have run across multiple different kinds of organizations along our podcast journey and just in the work that we do. And they offer a lot of similar things, but they do it differently. And you've described how you do that. We're involved with some of them here as a bank, not all of these, but there's ones out there, Soldier for Life, the TAP program, Pays.
Pays is part of our DNA, but SkillBridge is something we've always danced around looking at that thing.
how do you view that landscape, and how do you complement or even at times perhaps collaborate with those in the market? Because I know my premise here, my belief is that everybody's trying to do generally the same right thing at the end, which is do right by service members and help them make a graceful transition. So what's your view of that landscape?
Yeah, there's a lot of discussion around the veteran marketplace is like maybe crowded. There's about 45,000 veteran serving nonprofits. I don't think it's necessarily crowded, but I do think we have opportunities to refine how we share and collaborate and work together. On employment-focused organizations, there's a ton that do amazing work. You mentioned SkillBridge as a policy area that the Department of Defense runs, basically an internship model, and veterans come and work in an organization, and while they're leaving active duty, companies can run it on their own, or they can partner with amazing organizations like the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation or 50 Strong or many others that do and help you set up or execute your SkillBridge programs. There are cohort-based training systems where individuals leave and they go through 8 to 12 weeks of group learning, either in person or virtual. I think a 4-block is one of those. There's some that are super industry focused, others that are broad focused. And then there are a lot of groups that are aligned around like segmentation of the audience. So you have groups that focus on just Special Forces service members or just Navy SEALs, and really try to approach more of a wraparound care type of concept. So they recognize employment as part of that, but also you have unique challenges leaving. I'm assuming you have unique challenges leaving the Navy SEALs. I was in the Army, the Navy's my enemy,
Especially in the football field.
Yeah, exactly. So as I think about the landscape, it's one, trying to collaborate in ways where we're complementary to each other and not duplicative. So there are some amazing cohort-based systems where individuals are learning and maybe even getting a credential or certificate at the end of that. Can we be supportive in their employment connection on the other side? How can we make sure that we're getting that talent out to where they're leveraging that credential or that new skill and knowledge in the labor market? As we think about SkillBridge, we've learned through a lot of partnership over the years that we're kind of an upstream partnership with SkillBridge. If we have done one-on-one coaching with a service member before they compete for a SkillBridge opportunity, they're more confident, they interview better, they have a better identity of the role that they want to go after. They're more likely to get it, and then they're more likely to actually get a full-time job offer after that. Because you only get one chance at SkillBridge. So if you get a SkillBridge opportunity and the role is misaligned with your skills, it's an internship, but it didn't really move the needle for you as much as it could have towards sustainable employment. So we really focus on our differentiation. I'd say we're super disciplined in that, one, we're not trying to boil the ocean, and we don't work on health issues or housing. We partner with groups that do that and deliver employment intervention either where they are or in partnership with them. And then also being disciplined in terms of where does our program intervention fit? As a coaching effort, anyone can leverage and use a coach at any point in their employment journey. So we sometimes work with active duty military members who have more than 5 years before they're planning on leaving service, but they're just really struggling to see where those skills fit, and they need help on that. They come to us, they end up performing better in the military because they've got someone who's looking out for them and helping them kind of navigate their total career. We also get people who've been out of the labor market for as much as 15 years who come back and they have to start working again because maybe the nest egg didn't last as long as it needed to, or they had a change in family condition. And so they come back and they're re-entering the labor market after a long gap. And we're working with them to reintegrate into the labor force and upskill as appropriate. So I see us as that way, as kind of by being disciplined, but also broad-based of our audience, we're able to partner with a lot of these other amazing organizations doing a different methodology so that we can all uplift this audience together.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
We take pride, Ross, in the fact that we employ probably 80% of our retail staff has a military connection too. So it's pretty cool. They could be veterans or typically military spouses. dependents, but we want to make sure that we identify and walk in the footsteps of our clients, or boots in our clients. So we understand the military lifestyle. And what we found too is because we can career develop. They might start as a personal banker / teller. Then next thing you know, 6 months later, they're a supervisor. And then a year later, they're a manager. And as long as she or he are housed there or before they PCS, we can give them a lot of skills in that time. And banking has a lot of different skills when you think about, from marketing to IT to operations, compliance, you name it, lending.
It's huge.
They're transferable. And we talked about portable skills and how do you translate, if you will, military experience into business skills and experience. And you kind of answered this already, Ross, but is there anything else you want to add about, when they come to you after 20 years and they do like an experience of a job like you did, where you're a tank in the sky, that do you just start from square one and figure out where their passion is, where their heart is, and then you go from there? Because it's really in their court, right? They have to decide what they want to do, maybe what might be a good fit for them. But I got to believe it's hard if you don't have that real life experience in a civilian world.
Yeah, it's funny, some folks show up and they have a very clear coalesced idea. I don't know where they got it, but I had no idea when I was leaving the Army, and I was floundering. And I feel like I always thought that seemed to be kind of natural. But some people are leaving and they know themselves, they know their skill set well, and they just need someone to help them apply that. And so in those ones, it's sort of a confirmation conversation, and then equipping them and putting them out there networking and interviewing. But for those who don't have a sense of where they want to go, we really try to focus first and foremost on having them, being able to articulate what were they really uniquely good at in the military. Which of those, whether it was a role or a responsibility or a task area, and then kind of boiling that down a little bit to the underlying skills and competencies that feed into that. Then we kind of flip the question around, well, what did you really enjoy of those? Because sometimes you're good at something and you didn't necessarily enjoy doing it.
Exactly.
And we try to get this sort of coalescing picture for them where there's an overlap of not just like being a platoon leader. I loved it. I think I was pretty good at it. Those kind of jobs I would do again in a heartbeat. I can't go to a bank and say, hire me to be a platoon leader. You're going to go, I'm not doing many combat action drills here. So by focusing on the skills and tasks and competencies of that, then we can kind of start to illustrate that overlapping picture of like, these are the task areas and skill areas where you both like it and you're good at it. Then we overlap that with what will the market actually pay you to do of those? Because a good part of what I loved being a platoon leader about was like hanging around on the flight line as soldiers were working and learning what they were doing about the aircraft, learning how to service hydraulics and put the rotors back on and torque down the main rotor head. Like I loved doing that. I felt like I was good at building teams in that way. The market is not necessarily going to pay me to be hanging around joking with people while they're doing critical maintenance and getting in the way. So you have to really try and figure out where those three areas align. And then we get into the more like tactical questions around where do you want to live? Does that market then support these things? But that's really our framework to approach it. Is it starts with what are you really good at and what do you love to do? How do we find alignment there?
Does compensation ever enter the equation?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a critical part.
Early, later. Yeah.
We ask about it when they register. When any veteran or military spouse signs up on our website, one of the first questions we ask them is, how much do they hope to make? And that question is hinged on others. Are they actively working right now? Are they unemployed or underemployed? But then from there, it's part of the conversation with their transition specialist is that's an expectation. Is that expectation rooted in what the market will support and helping them understand how to narrow that appropriately so they aren't putting either something where they're significantly undervaluing themselves, which happens a lot with service members, or overinflating what the market will support for the role that they're going for.
Got it.
A lot of this sounds like conversations I'm having with my college age child too right now, because
that's another huge transition.
I mean, yeah. So when you got to the part about what do you like to do, I mean, you might be good at this, son, but do you think you'd love to do it?
Because if you love what you do you know the end?
I do, but you like to say it. So
you never work a day in your life, right? That's what Ross told me the other day too.
Here to support you and saying your favorite things, Tom.
Your attitude is getting better.
Yeah, smell my coffee's kicking in. Hey everyone, if you're looking for a little extra financial flexibility to take the family on a vacation, tackle that home renovation, or just get through the ups and downs of military life, we've got some great news for our military listeners.
Absolutely. Armed Forces Bank offers access loans that are perfect for handling life's unexpected expenses, consolidating debt, or even making that big purchase you've been thinking about. And with our fast approval process, you can get the funds you need quickly and easily without all the hassle.
At Armed Forces Bank, about 75% of our team is affiliated with the military, so we understand your unique needs. We've been supporting military families for over 100 years, and we're here to help you take control of your finances.
Whether you're active duty, a veteran, or a reservist, we're committed to offering you flexible terms and competitive rates, making sure you get a loan that fits your life.
So if you're ready to take that next step, head over to afbank.com or visit a branch near you. Armed Forces Bank, serving those who serve.
Member FDIC, subject to credit approval. Origination fee applies. Direct deposit relationship required. Loan terms are based on loan amount.
So, Ross, you've shared a little bit about your military career. Help us understand how you made the leap from Apache Pilot to now being here with Higher Heroes. I need to practice that over and over in a mirror.
Oh, we didn't hit the record button. We can start all over again.
Ross is like, oh gosh, no.
You did
He's like, I can't hear you.
I did.
He
2.5.
My connection's failing. I'm about to lose you. Yeah. So how did you're helping people make the leap to civilian life now. How did you make the leap, and how did you end up at Higher Heroes?
Yeah, when I was leaving the Army, I was stationed at West Point, and I had no clue, to be blunt. I had no clue what I wanted to do. I had gone to a few career fairs and hoped that the answer might materialize for me from there. And I went to all sorts of rounds of interviews while I was at those career fairs, interviewing in manufacturing firms and microchip processor places, with a couple of banking institutions and consulting roles. And all of it felt like I was either giving off a strong sense of desperation, which is very off-putting to a recruiter in a career fair, or you could just tell I was fumbling and trying to say yes to the dress, right? I'm just saying yes to everything that's there. And they're like, you should probably say no on this one because it's not fitting. And I remember distinctly, I was meeting with a partner at a consulting firm, and he kind of stops the conversation and says, really hard feedback that was hard to hear, but I needed to hear it. And he said, it just really feels like you're doing this because it's what you think you need to be doing, but not necessarily what you want to be doing. And if I'm wrong about that, then I'll happily move you forward in this process. But I'd like you to go back and think about that. Think about, are you really just trying to fit yourself in here because you have an educational background that could fit in here? And the more I grappled with that question, it's like looking at the thing that you didn't want to look at. It was always sitting right there that it felt like I was trying to force fit myself into that interview, but nobody had called me on it. It felt kind of like when I was in college and a great professor kind of held me after class, and she was like, I know you can do better than this, and you're slacking, and you need to deliver what you're capable of. And didn't love to hear that, but needed to hear it.
Yeah.
So when I kind of worked from there, I started working backwards around like what parts of being in the military did I really enjoy doing, and what aspects of leading soldiers were really appealing to me. What aspects of that educational background had I really enjoyed doing, and just trying to have more conversations with people I trusted around those and getting their feedback about how to talk about that. And it was in one of those conversations with an old boss of mine. And as I was just talking about the things I liked doing and needing to figure out where those fit, he actually said, hey, have you heard of this group? Hire Heroes USA, and I had not. And he was like, I know someone there. They're looking right now for someone to run a research project. It's on disabled veterans. It's going to run research. It's similar to what you did when you were running like executive coaching stuff as part of like what you were doing at West Point, but also what you were doing when you were managing grants over at this part. And you'd need to be entrepreneurial, but also be working in the organization. So you'd have structure and support. Like, take a look at it, because what you're saying to me sounds like what that person told me he's looking for. And sure enough, I looked through it and I'm like, this is the one. I think that day, it was probably the fastest I've ever done a cover letter, because they're just, I got it in and I told him I applied, and he said, look, I'm not hiring. I'm not the person in charge, but I'll tell them that I recommended that. And that's a referral basically. So that helps you move in the process. And sure enough, I had a couple rounds of interviews, and the more interviews I had, the more I realized like this is kind of what a role it felt like designed for me after leaving the service, because to create from scratch an entirely new program and almost an entire new business identity under Hire Heroes, to manage a very restricted grant, to do critical work addressing the labor force participation rate of disabled veterans, and why aren't we seeing it equitable with other veteran groups? And how can we get better quality of life, better physical, mental, emotional health, better employment outcomes through structured interventions and incentives to encourage upward mobility? And when I finally got the chance to step into that work, it was like, man, all of the right types of challenges that I felt like I was ready to take on, plus having an amazing team and the leadership of Hire Heroes. Then I worked for the chief operating officer directly, a man named Nate Smith. And he was one of the best leaders I ever had. And it was just great. The lesson I got from that was like, I had been trying to do things by myself a lot. And really, it's your network that's going to get you to that next step. And I wasn't leveraging it at all.
I knew there was a good story in there.
I know.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to go a little tangential. But, speaking of leadership, we have this military banking summit coming up through the Association of Military Banks of America in Colorado Springs in a couple of weeks. And one of the topics is going to be on leadership. One of the thoughts was maybe you should be in attendance at that, Ross, because it's a good summit with banks and financial educators and nonprofits and all that. So I'm putting a plug in for that too. But you mentioned Nate Smith, COO, as a leader, and you said one of the best leaders. So what qualifies him as a great leader? And then take that to the next level and say, what's your leadership style today in your role?
Yeah. What stood out for me with Nate is he never asked more of people than he would do himself. So if he was expecting people to kind of deliver at a high level of quality in a certain area, he was holding himself to that same standard. And I would even say a more rigorous standard than that. That stood out to me right off the bat. He had a great blend of being highly personal, but also a really good understanding of like the professional lines and boundaries. How do you be a good professional, empathetic person to support your team, but also keeping the mission front and center? What is the mission of our work here? He had a great sense of humor and understanding about himself. He loved to quote philosophy and stuff like that. And he would start meetings with Nate aphorisms, and he'd pull some ancient quote from some philosopher I'd never heard of. And he would catch a lot of, flack about it, but, he knew who he was, and he was super transparent and honest around who he was as a leader and shared that. And that was something that I felt like I always thought was a strength of mine as well. It was just, I want my team to know how I think and how I operate and what's going on with me, because the more they understand me, the less they're going to be wondering, how will Ross take this? They'll be able to infer, and I want them to take leadership in my absence. I want to work myself out of a job essentially as a leader. I think the best thing I can do is equip my team that they don't need me ever again. And I think you can do that by sharing with them around how you think and operate and why decisions are made the way they are.
And Ross, not being threatened by them actually taking your job, but you want to develop and surround yourself with people that are of like mind or of like skill or even better than you.
Absolutely. The better you hire a team, I think that if that is a risk that your team will supplant you, then you've done your
It's a
job
good
right.
risk.
Yeah. It's a risk worth taking every time.
When you were describing Nate, I thought you were describing me for a while with that, the sense of humor. And
I thought Jodi gave me a look, and it was just like, oh, whoops, I'm doing the wrong thing again.
is this Tom McLean or is this Nate Smith? And it's one and the same. I interrupted you. Go ahead.
I literally have no comment.
Which is a shock.
Which is shocking all by itself. You've left me speechless, McLean. T-Mac.
T-Mac, you did it again.
Houston Rockets leader. Yep.
Oh my gosh. Hey, I want to pivot back a little bit to the organization and visit about the partners. You mentioned a while ago partners that support the organization. In what ways do they do that? As we look out there, there's all sorts of big names out there. There's Walmart Foundation, Boeing, Advanced Auto Parts, Men's Warehouse, LinkedIn, all by name and by what I know to be true about what they do make kind of perfect sense that they would be partnered with you. But in what ways are they supporting the organization?
Yeah, there are a lot of variety of ways. One of the fundamental ways, obviously, we are a nonprofit. We depend on donors to fund this mission. So a lot of family foundations and corporate philanthropy dig into and understand the impact that we're having. We put over 110,000 veterans and military spouses into new jobs doing this work. And so they look through that and recognize it's serving a critical need that meets their philanthropic goals. And so they support either programming or capacity building efforts or business continuity efforts through structured gifts in that way. Also through engaging in veteran talent and hiring. So if they're wanting to get talent into their own system and also recognizing that by equipping military talent, even if they go to a different firm, that's elevating the marketplace, that's improving communities, that's improving then their customer base. And so recognizing by helping our employment focused systems and hiring military talent that they're able to kind of move the needle in that way. One of the kind of areas I think people don't notice a lot is volunteering. And it's such a difference maker. We have over 6,000 volunteers who are members of industry, mostly not veterans.
Wow.
And they are just such a fundamental difference in our personalized coaching system because our transition specialist is the utility knife. They're kind of guiding that journey. But if you're interested in a specific role in a specific industry, you get one-on-one mentoring with a volunteer in our system who works in that type of role or is hiring people for that type of role. And we have that for everything from career coaching, diving deep into that, to mock interviews and even emergency mock interviews. If a client finds out that they have an interview coming up and it's a Friday right now and the interview's on Monday, we can turn around a volunteer of that industry to do an emergency mock interview with them Monday morning before they have their actual interview later. So they get some practice in, get rid of some of the nerves and more confident in their interviewing ability. To broader things with LinkedIn supports us through a variety of tools on their technology platform, as well as philanthropic gifts, and then collaborating on data sharing and analysis of that data in terms of what's happening with veteran employment to really illustrate the landscape for other organizations and really equip everyone to do a better job of hiring veterans and military spouses. I mean, it's just been awesome. Like Service Master Brands runs a golf event fundraiser for us, but also encourages and has built a unique pipeline effort for their franchise owners to hire veterans,
Nice.
Which has been phenomenal. And that's a great way veterans and military spouses can be active in their communities is running like a Service Master Clean or Service Master Restore franchise where they're helping people who are in another critical moment or businesses that need support. And it's just, we see that being like a flywheel effect of uplifting communities through the social impact of them funding our mission.
Yeah, no, I love that. And what I hear there too is, I listed off several large companies that everybody's heard of, But based on the ways that you're saying those partners engage, there are really opportunities for organizations or companies of all
sizes,
shapes and sizes,
and all industries.
down to even an individual, an army of one, kind of even a sole prop kind of a company that's willing to volunteer their time. And so I'm glad you brought up volunteers. I was going to ask about that later, but just to close that loop, if people are interested in that or learning more about partnering as an organization, they would find information on that at hireheroesusa.org.
That's right. Or on LinkedIn or Instagram or any of those, we're at Hire Heroes USA.
Yep. Perfect.
I think we're winding down, but I do have another question about the virtual career fairs. And I noticed that on your website. What's the frequency? What can people expect if they were to attend one of those? And just talk to that and we will wrap it up.
Yeah, we started these a few years ago, actually, even before COVID, just in terms of traditional hiring fairs, really geographically restricted in a lot of ways, can be costly. It takes a lot of staff time to man and operate a booth at those. But we figured out that virtual career fairs, we can kind of connect more veterans with more employers. And so we run one a quarter. We get well over 500 veterans every time registering to take part in those. And the companies that sign up to take part, essentially, you've got like a kind of a virtual networking space that's happening, but then also you can set up interviews, screening discussions, deep dives into resumes as part of it, recruiter one-on-one chatting and things like that through the platform that we're leveraging for it. And it's phenomenal. Like, we get a chance to not only bring in other organizations broadly across the nation that maybe wouldn't be able to attend an in-person career fair in a region that they're not based, but also all types of clients who are job seeking can now learn a lot more and meet with more recruiters. We just definitely seen a much higher conversion on that than running traditional career fairs.
Wait, 3 quick things. Ready?
Okay. Was this like speed questions?
Wait, see if you can hear. If I play this, will it be heard?
I apologize in advance, Ross.
See if you can hear that.
You're so weird. Yeah.
Well, he mentioned it. You know what that is?
No, I don't.
That's a theme song to Say Yes to the Dress.
Do you feel bad for me yet, Ross?
The second thing is... Second thing
you just
is,
broke some copyright law.
I probably did.
Yeah.
But we'll have to edit it.
We're going
now.
to trademark jail.
Only 10 seconds. I think it's fine.
Somebody told me you're like training for a marathon. What is that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I am. So we have sponsored runners this year for the Marine Corps Marathon, where we are kind of paying their registration fees and then they're fundraising on our behalf and they're going to run the marathon. And I guess I'm a glutton for punishment, or I have too much of an ego from when I was a young person. Yeah, I used to run a lot in my teens and 20s, and not anymore. But I was guilted into being a sponsored runner this year. So I'll be running the Marine Corps Marathon and trying to fundraise as part of that, and mostly trying to survive and live through it.
You do know how many miles that is, right?
26.2.
My wife has done too. She did it in 4 hours and 27 minutes. So you have to beat that.
No, that's an awesome time. I would be thrilled to do that time. Are you kidding me?
All right.
I'm thinking I might be 6 hours.
Yeah. Well, as long as you finish.
Yeah, I would pay somebody to run it for me. What's that? Can you do that?
Maybe just use AI or something.
Can I be a sponsored sponsor?
Oh,
yeah. Dial it in.
My team is taking it to town. They're trying to put me in all sorts of outfits and oh boy, yeah, it's going to be fun.
There's something to be said for that. Yeah.
The third thing was, I know he's listened to our podcast because he mentioned 45,000 nonprofits serving the military community.
Do you think our podcast is the only place that stat lives on planet Earth?
We're fact checking a little bit. So whenever I've said that on 9 other episodes, I'm right.
Oh. So you just feel validated and you're thanking Ross for that.
I'm going to play another song for you. Yeah.
Yes.
Do it.
And then the fourth thing, military spouse employment partnership.
Yes.
They're more of a job posting board, but I have to believe there's something where maybe you integrate, maybe you insert yourself, or maybe you work with them to make sure that you sort of tie the knot or be a lead source for you too, right?
Yeah. It's a DoD run program, the Military Spouse Employment Partnership, and we are one of their certified partners. It's a combination of groups like us that are working with spouses and hiring organizations that want to bring in spouse talent. We collaborate with them in a lot of ways, both from kind of contributing to the different seminars and events, but also, kind of back and forth, like boosting what events they have going on or items, and then saying
Social media stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. It's a great component of the DoD, and we're really proud to participate in that.
You know what would be a great tagline for your company? It would be "Our mission is your next one," right?
I think ours is. It is our. Yeah.
Did you take that off their website?
I took it off. I took it off their website.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid one.
Oh my gosh! All right.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah. Thanks, Tom.
I just came up with that.
I think I'm going to have to save you from Tom.
Let's just play a game.
Point. Yeah. So
you want to play a game?
We I promise we're about to let you go, Ross. we have, if you bear with us one minute, we haven't been able to play Military Minute for a minute. See what I did there?
That sense of humor.
So our first question is from our last podcast and our last guest. So if you know the answer to this, you can totally answer. Let's see here. In what year was Military Appreciation Month made official? It's a two-part question. And what U.S. Senator championed that formal designation? Any guesses?
Senator Dole, maybe? And now more cool on the year.
It rhymes with McBrain.
Or McLean.
Or McLean.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Give it away, McCain?
Yeah.
Yes. Ding, ding, ding.
Yes.
Mick.
Right.
No clue on the year, though.
It's
1999.
Like McGrady.
So,
yeah.
Wow.
if you are in our audience and you guessed or just knew, and so you were super smart and put Senator John McCain, 1999 as your answer, watch for your name to be dropped as the lucky recipient of $50 for you and $50 to a charity of your choice. And now I'm going to fast forward to our question for today's episode. And you can't answer this one. You might know it, but you can't answer.
I think he knows the answer.
Well, I don't know. He could like raise his hands.
Is it a three-part
And it's
question?
weirdly a three-part question because brevity is not Tom's strength. So this week's military levity, maybe.
Yeah.
This week's military
and longevity.
minute. Stop talking.
And divine gravity.
Stop talking. I need to get this question out. It's about the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. A three-part question. Part one. What year was West Point established? What is the motto for West Point? And which two U.S. presidents went to West Point? Don't answer.
Look, he's writing them down.
I know, because it's a lot.
He's Googling at the same time.
He probably knows because
he probably does know.
He's smart, and we already talked about his education.
Put your thumb up or nod if you know the answer to 1, 2, or 3. All three of them? Okay.
Oh, very good. Very good. So if you're as smart as Ross, I want you to enter all three answers.
And as funny as Jodi.
And funny as Tom is looking, put your answer in the comments. And then you too, if you're right on all three parts, could be selected as the lucky recipient of $50 for yourself and $50 for a charity of your choice.
How do you keep a straight face?
The coffee has fully kicked in. And I'm going to save Ross from us. And I'm just going to say thank you, one, for tolerating Tom, and two, for being here to tell our audience all about Hire Heroes today. It was great to hear about the organization. Y'all are doing great work.
Excellent.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you both for the chance to join you. And thanks for all that you're doing to tell military stories and uplift military members. Yeah, at the bank. I mean, your work is really making a big impact on the community, but then you're also celebrating and sharing that through the podcast. So I had a lovely time and definitely open for more Guess the Song competitions, whatever you want to do. And would love to see you in Colorado.
Tom will be coming for a visit to go to a concert with you soon.
That's right. Enter Sandman and go to Colorado if you can map it out in the next 2 weeks, because I think it'd be great for you to be there. So thanks for considering doing that. If you enjoyed today's episode, really as much as Ross has, because Ross, I think this is probably one of the best podcasts he's had. Like
fish.
He's had 3 or 4. I guess podcast would be like fly fishing, right?
Yeah, you could market that.
All right, go out to afbank.com and subscribe to the show. Make sure to rate us. Leave us a comment on your favorite podcast platform like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. You know, it's been 2.5 months.
Speaking is
Jodi.
hard, Ross. Thank you so much for being
Say
here.
hire heroes 5 times.
Thank you for being here, Ross.
Thank you both.
It's been a pleasure.
Ross,
Thank you.
Take care.
Take care.
Thank you. Copyright Armed Forces Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All non-Armed Forces Bank owned apps, websites, company names, and product names are trademarks or registered trademarks of their respective owners. Their mention does not imply any affiliation with or endorsement by Armed Forces Bank of them or their products and services. They are merely used as examples of the many available apps, companies, and websites that offer similar services. Before using any app or website, you should carefully review the terms of use, data collection, and privacy policy. Apps may have an initial cost or in-application purchase features. This information is general in nature and is not intended to be legal, tax, or financial advice. Although Armed Forces Bank believes this information to be accurate, it cannot ensure that it could change. Statements or opinions of individuals referenced herein are their own, not Armed Forces Bank. Consult an appropriate professional concerning your specific situation and respective governing bodies for applicable laws, such as irs.gov for current tax law. Armed Forces Bank, the Armed Forces Bank logo, and the Militarily Speaking logo are registered trademarks of Armed Forces Bank.